All right, this is State of Mind. If you like what you see, and just hit the little cube right here, little red cube. Um, okay, so today I have somebody who, how can I explain it? She's a producer, and she was my producer when I started um, General Hospital. And she's in my book, Nothing General About It, New York Times bestseller. And let me pat my. Where's my book? My book's over there now. It used to be here. I could have grabbed my book and showed it, um, because it was a moment that. But I'm not going to talk about it right now. I'm going to talk about it with her. But she's very special to me. Her name is Shelley Curtis. How you doing?
Doing good. Doing good.
How do
Happy
you?
to see you.
Oh, we haven't seen each other in how long?
You had a party and we drove all the
Oh
way out
yeah,
there. You remember that? And you were
yes.
closing the gate saying, no, no more people. I said, Maurice, it's
That
me.
was a great part.
That was a great party.
When was that? My dad was there, right?
That's right. Your dad was there.
My mom, my dad, my a bunch of people. Didn't we have cowboy hats and stuff?
Your kids were little, very little. They
Yeah.
weren't. I think he was young, your son. I can't remember exactly, but we drove all the way out there and we kept saying, "Holy shit! How far is this place? How can Maurice live out here?" And it was such a cool party. It was so
Yeah.
nice.
But
Great
you've been to a
place.
few of my parties
Yeah, I've been to a
in
lot of your
LA.
parties in
Yeah,
LA.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah. You're in your old house.
yeah.
But yeah, there's been a lot of time. A lot of time goes by, which is sometimes sad because you're so close with somebody. But I always feel very, very close to you.
Always.
Uh,
Well, I know why. So let me take you down memory lane. This is nice. This feels real good right now. So what happened was this. I'm going to start with I played Desi Arnaz in a TV movie. And after that, I thought I was going to be Al Pacino. And after the movie, it did great in the ratings and stuff, but I ran out of money. And it was tough. And I had to borrow money from my mom and dad, and they were great. And my wife was working as an extra. And I was auditioning and studying acting. I wanted to be this actor, best actor in the world. But it was tough. And then I get a call that General Hospital wants to meet with me. And I said, fuck General Hospital. I said, I ain't doing a soap because I had left all my children and I wanted to make it in movies. And to me, to do another soap would have meant I failed. So Paula said, no, you're not going to F General Hospital because we have no money. And I said, oh, yeah, I forgot. So I took a meeting. Paula drove me, waited in the parking lot for I think it was
hours,
hours, yeah.
hours.
And I sat with Shelley and Wendy Riche. Tell me what you tell me what you thought before I walked in, when I was in there, and after I walked out.
Okay, I'm going to be very honest.
Yeah, I don't you get that's what I
Wendy,
like.
Wendy brought you in to meet with her. She never mentioned it to
Right.
me. I happened to walk in the middle of it, and I'm like, "Holy, who's this guy? So intense and great. I didn't know you were an actor. I didn't know one thing about you."
Right.
And we just sat there, the three of us, for an hour,
Right.
maybe an hour and a half.
No long, yeah.
And it may be longer. You were
Yeah.
with her before, and I always had to go. I was always running down to the booth for shooting. So I came back to Wendy after. I said, "Who is that guy? Whoever he is, we've got to get him. I don't care if he fixes computers or he's an actor. We need him on."
Right.
And she said, "He's an incredible actor, and I really want him on the show." And you came, and you were amazing.
But
Always.
wait a minute. You guys, I remember you guys were sitting there and you said there's two roles that I want to offer you. Damien and another guy named Sonny.
Oh.
And I said, well, what's this Damien cut? She said, he's a mafia guy. He's on 2-year contract. I said, and then you guys go, well, there's another guy, Sonny. That's a cool name. And he's a nightclub owner or something, strip, whatever. And, he's like a 6-month contract. I said, yes,
That's the one.
I'll come in, do 6 months, get the hell out, show everybody I'm a good actor, and da 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 da.
Right.
And I remember I loved you guys. And I just said I was happy. And before I went in there, I was like, I'm not doing another soap opera. But you guys were incredible. And what it was that feeling we had in the beginning took it till you guys left. We always had that feeling.
Yeah.
So what you guys didn't know is that for 2 years I had stopped taking my medication. So the first day, I think it was, the first day was in a nightclub. Remember I told you guys,
Mm-hmm.
don't tell me more voice ever. I said, don't ever tell me more voice. And the first day, Joe Behar, God bless his soul, remember it was a nightclub thing and it was loud in there and I had to talk loud and he goes, hey, we can't hear you. You guys didn't know what I could become or whatever.
Right.
And I'm like, I stopped and I said, I did it again. And he said, we can't. I never gave more voice. Didn't do it forever. Still don't. At that time, did you sense anything was wrong with me? Like the first week? Or was it just, this guy's really intense, method actor?
I think we just sort of let you do your thing. I'm not sure why. We didn't force anything on you. We and that was sort of our philosophy anyway with all the actors there, that we bring the storyline and let them create it, because from the page to the stage, it has to come through the actors. They have to understand it. They have to feel comfortable with it. Sometimes there's some technique things we need because it is a nightclub and we got to get in there. But we can always work around stuff like that. But I loved your intensity. I loved that you were never mean about it. You were never rude.
No,
you were
no.
completely just, this is who I am, right?
Yeah.
And we followed that lead because that's what we liked about you. We liked that part.
There was a story. Is this true? And I think it was you. That I was in a scene and I stopped in the middle of the scene and looked down, looked away like I do all the time. But then you guys weren't used to it. And somebody said, cut. And you said, don't cut.
Yeah.
Was that you?
Yeah. Yeah.
What? I love this interview. This is like a fucking acting interview here.
Well, you know why I wanted that? For the same reason I just said that. I didn't care. And I actually basically learned a lot of this from Gloria Monty, because I started in the soaps in '79. I was a very young kid and I wasn't allowed to say a word. And I sat next to Gloria for 6 years. And to her, she let actors act. So people would say, well, we're stretching, we're getting too long. She said, forget it, I don't care.
Wow.
It's in the eyes. It's in the eyes. If they're playing it, just play it. Cut to two, get in closer. She went for the actor and the role. So when you look down and you take a beat, I know I can cut something else out in editing. I don't need, I want that time. The audience is watching. It's such a close-up medium that they want to see real.
Yeah.
They don't want to see somebody who's just pretending and just talking fast. I mean, I do like speed in certain dialogue scenes, but to take that moment, which you were taking, which felt very visceral and real, don't cut.
Yeah.
We could, I mean.
Well, they thought I went up on my line, but I didn't.
It's how you are now.
I know.
You have to think about it. You get it in your head and you're thinking. And you could see that in your eyes, and I could see that in those first days that you're a thinking actor. So I think the audience relates to that.
Yeah.
They believe in it. That's why you were so successful at it, is you were that character.
Yeah.
And, there's times, of course, you go, okay, well, I'm just going to pull that up a little bit just
Yeah, sure,
because,
yeah.
That moment didn't need
Because if you guys had messed with me too much, I wouldn't have become what I become, I tell you that, or I might have left.
Right. No, you would have.
Yeah, because I wasn't I just needed to do this. And
Right.
I think I told you guys, I want to do something Wendy Riche, who was the executive producer, said to me, because I wanted this to be like a movie. So, one day I was complaining about it, and she came down and she said, I know you think this is The Godfather, but you got to remember, this is a soap opera. And that stuck with me. Because you got to accept the reality of it. Otherwise, you're going to mentally lose your head. Because if you try to make this something that it isn't, I always try to, but I know when to pull back now.
But, you see that, let's say it was The Godfather, and I was producing it or I was directing it. I'm still going to come out to an actor who's not, it feels like bullshit.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And I don't care if that's The Godfather or a soap opera. And that's what kind of pisses me off about people, because the greatest actors are in soaps, and nobody understands how difficult and how rushed. And yes, I have to say, I used to have my priorities. I'd come in, I knew what the show was about that day. I knew where I could cut, and I knew where I could stretch. And my thing was always the characters, how they related to each other. And how to build a love story, how to create that intensity. If it's bullshit, then it's bullshit in a big movie, and it's bullshit in the tiniest soap opera, or bullshit right now.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So I don't compare movies to any of this. I feel there's real moments.
Yes, I'm with you on that. I 100% with you on that.
I get what Wendy was saying.
Yeah.
Is don't make this bigger than it is.
Yes. The problem.
The problem.
Not the acting per se.
Right.
The acting to me has always been the same. I do the same. I've done enough now outside of soaps that I do it the same.
Right.
I try to be as truthful as I can, as real as I can. But there's so many actors complain too much.
Well, they get out of their head, or they get too in their head, I should say. And in some cases, you can go out and you can say, look, let's cut this whole page of dialogue, and let's have you boxing. Let's have you, especially men and in soaps, men don't sit around and talk. They move. They play.
That's true.
They play games.
Right.
Your son plays the guitar. He plays basketball.
Yeah.
That's how men talk. They don't sit at the edge of the bed like girlfriends. Girlfriends can kind of cuddle up together and tell their love stories, but men don't do that. So you have to give an activity, and I always felt like we could find activities for you. Busy. You needed to be busy doing something so you didn't get too much in your head.
I get you.
And if you think too much about it, any dialogue sounds stupid. They're like, what am I saying? What am I saying?
Now, you were the queen of sex scenes.
Yeah.
Everybody still talks about it. Like, you were the... What was the thing? Why did you know so much about doing sex?
I'll tell you how I knew about that. Because, again, all this goes back to Gloria Monty. When she's the one who taught me how to create, if you will, love stories, super couples, whatever you want to call it, she would play it so real in between the eyes. And I would edit everything, because she liked to shoot one camera, even in those days when we were cutting live. When it came to love stories, she said, one camera only. And she'd go around and shoot it, and then she goes, God help you, dear, it's all in there. So I'd sit in the edit room and put all this stuff together and build it.
And build, yeah.
And we'd do it to music.
Right.
And we would get looks, touches, moments, feelings. What was going on with those two characters? And then I would build it in the edit room. And that, I don't think that anybody takes that kind of time anymore.
Well, because the problem is, Shelley, we had time and we had money. Now, there's no time and no money. So I think about, like, Frank, Valentine, the executive producer. he's a money kind of guy. He's he saved our jobs and whatnot, but it's very difficult to have it look like it did, or even because it's like, and we're shooting up 1,000 pages now as opposed to now. When I was with you guys, it was like 8-page scenes, man.
Yeah.
That was like hard, but
Yeah.
you get a lot in there. Now it's 2 pages.
Yeah, I understand that, and I'll give that to you. But we had the experience, and let's say, even now, in fact, I was directing Bold and the Beautiful until the pandemic,
Oh,
and we're in a hurry. They do 2 shows a day. And now it's a
30
30-minute
minutes. Yeah,
show.
yeah.
And I wasn't the producer on it, which was really hard for me because I was used to going out and saying, look, here's how we fix it.
Yeah.
Because I'm a fixer, but I'm fast. I'm really fast. So they were running overtime. There were 2 directors because it was a big wedding. And I had 15 scenes left, and it was 6:45, and they were going to go into penalty in 1 hour. I went out to the actors, explained what was going on, said, we're going to simplify the scene, but I want you to play every emotion, and we're going to go right now. So start running your lines, but I want all the qualities, but we're not going to move as much. You're going to go here, you're going to walk there. And boom, I finished in 45 minutes.
Dang.
All those scenes. The person behind me said, what just happened? I said, you want lightning in a bottle? There's your lightning in a bottle.
Wow.
So it's possible
but it's
to pick your moments.
Yeah.
So you can still, I mean, I'm sorry, it's going to sound terrible. I just don't think the people have the expertise for that. Or maybe they don't have the right combination. For me, I was a director, so I know how to do that.
Right.
But I would sit behind the directors, and we were a team. And I'd say, okay, we're gonna get out of these 5 scenes by this time in 20 minutes, and then we're gonna spend an hour on these 4 scenes. And I don't care if you're in a time crunch, you can do it. And there wasn't a show that wasn't edited that I didn't go over there and do the primary scenes that I wanted to see that I felt the show was about that day. That's not to ignore other characters. It just
I get you.
I just would pick my scenes and say, okay, this is what the show's about today. And I knew that. I was in the writers' meetings. I heard the voice of the writers. I would hear what our arc was for the week. So I could make the time and slice the time wherever I needed to. Now, I'm not there doing all those scenes. I have been. I've done that.
Yeah.
I did a mini series in Australia for Lifetime, and they were half there.
That's fast too.
Well, it's my perfect sweet spot because I would have a director out on location and a director in the studio, but they had shot a tremendous amount of it and it was not flying, so I had to go and reshoot, and they said, you have this amount of time. I said, I can do it, and you run through those with one camera. Okay, get that shot, get that shot, get that shot. I know how to edit it. Cut this. Because in my head, I've already edited it. In my head, I already know what I'm going to do.
That's like Quentin Tarantino said, the power of soaps.
Yeah. Yeah. But I knew the love story. So when we did love scenes, I made sure that those 2 people were so comfortable with each other. And I would get every shot I could. Now, I wouldn't use it all. I would just use some of it. Because another thing Gloria taught me is lose your babies. You know you love those shots, get rid of them.
Yeah.
You know you shot them, and you know they're there, but you got to get rid of them.
All right, let me talk about something else now. That there's a few points that I want to know through your eyes if you saw what happened. Because in the first couple of weeks, I was losing my mind. There was a scene and I talked this with Michael Sutton, because he did State of Mind.
I see Michael all the time.
He's great. Yeah. I love Michael. And I asked him, he told me his perspective, and it was cool. But I did a scene with Carrie Shane where we're on the couch, and she's crying about her stepfather abusing her. And she's on my lap. She can't see my face. And in that moment, because I was having a manic episode, she's crying, I'm starting to cry. Because I realized in that moment, Sonny realized that his stepfather abused him, and I realized that my own father abused me. Did you guys notice anything? Or do you even remember?
Oh, I know. I totally remember.
Okay, what tell me what you...
I just felt that you always acted upon your raw emotions, on how you were feeling at the time. And we kind of just let you do it. I don't think we knew quite that you were going through such pain that you were going through, but I knew that you drew on a lot of pain, but I didn't know you were necessarily falling apart in those scenes until the day you called me and actually said, this is happening. I can't do this anymore. I can't come in. I can't do these lines. I can't even come in.
I don't remember that.
I said, Maurice, you're coming in. If we don't even do the scenes, you got to come to work. That's your job. And you said, well, I don't know, man. I don't know. I said, you got to come to work. That's your job. When you get here, we can talk about the rest of it. But your job is to show up. And you kind of went, okay.
Well, after that, those scenes is when I went home, and I think is when I started drinking a lot, and I said it on Oprah, but where I threatened to kill my wife, and I said I quit acting. I wasn't going back. So you guys kept calling and saying, what the fuck is going on? And Paula kept saying it's personal until she finally said he's having a nervous breakdown. And I want to tell one story about what we were just talking about, because I've never told this story, I don't think. The night that happened with Paula, she called my psychiatrist, who gave me my diagnosis in my first diagnosis after the mental hospital. He gave me, I was manic depressive, and she called him and she said, I think Maurice is going through a nervous breakdown again. And he goes, why? And he goes, let me talk to him. So I talked to my therapist, and I said, hey, Charles, how you doing? He goes, good. How are you? I said, I'm good, man. That's how you are I'm good. Everything's good. Blah, blah, blah. I said, yeah. No, my wife's overreacting. She just, whatever. So he gets on the phone with Paula, and he says he's having a manic episode. And she goes, how do you know? Because he called me Charles. He's never calls me Charles. I always call him Dr. Nuna.
Mm-hmm.
That's how smart he is. So I started losing it bad, and then I said I wasn't going back to work. And then Paula said to you, he's having a breakdown, and I'm going to try to get him in. I'll never forget the day that I walked in, and I was scared as a mother. I mean, I couldn't remember anything. And then you came into my room, and I said, I can't do it. And you were sitting there, and you said, you can do it. I said, no, Shelley, I can't do it. I can't remember a fucking line, man. And I had pages and pages, right? Always pages. And then I sat next to you, and you said, I'll never forget, I tell everybody this, you said, we will go page by page, line by line, word by word if we have to. And I started crying, and then we hugged, right? And I went upstairs, and I never forget, it was like Death Man walking, when you're going to get executed. Because I walked upstairs, and the camera seemed so big.
Yeah.
And I didn't know, it's not like now if I had a breakdown, people would be like, I feel safer, right? Then I didn't know anybody. And I always, in my head, I'm thinking, everybody's thinking, who's this guy who comes in here in 3 weeks, quits the show, and now he's back, and he's like, and I was petrified. But I did it. How the hell did, now I want to know from you, how was it that first day I came back and you saw me in the booth? What did you see?
Well, I knew if I could get you up on the stage, if I could get you to do that walk, which was quite a walk, remember? You had to go up that elevator and around the sets, and everybody's there, and it's quiet because they know there's something going on, and they've been waiting. And I just knew if I could get you up into the set where you felt comfortable, and everybody would just act normally, you could slowly begin. And you will, because you're comfortable acting.
I know, but there had to be, acting wasn't great.
I had the faith in you that you were going to do it. I come from, my father is like this. I knew you just need to be calmed down, and you need to be Sonny. I said, you can be Sonny. That's who you are. You created that character.
Yeah.
That was you. So that's not us. It's you.
Right.
We handed you this, and then you put it all together. And I knew that if we could get you up there, and I would stand on the stage and be there for you, you knew it. And I had all the faith in the world in you. And I think you felt that from me and from Wendy. And your co-workers loved you. So I think once you got up there and you did it, you couldn't believe you did it.
No.
But I said, see, Maurice, you did it. And you'll come back and you'll do it again. Because you have created this character. You are who you are. And I think you started to see the light, right? I think you started to see, I can do this. I have it was a supportive group there.
Yeah.
Nothing left that.
No.
It was a bubble.
Right.
I mean, our whole world was a bubble then. For me as well. You know, any troubles you went to, you could leave them outside that bubble and you'd be on the stage. And I felt like there was just nothing we couldn't do. Nothing we couldn't do. I never felt unsafe in our bubble. And I wanted you to feel that safety.
It was one of the hardest things. I mean, I've been through so much. Every time it's the hardest thing. But
well, you went through a lot on that show. You're young. Your wife had a miscarriage. Do you remember that?
Yeah, you know what's funny? I don't speak about that a lot.
Yeah, well, that was a big deal.
Yeah.
You know, it hit you in many ways. You were so deeply saddened. Paula was beside herself, which I totally understand. And you were mad at Paula, and you were mad that you were mad at Paula.
Yeah.
And we just talked about it a long time. We had, I think by that time I had one kid, and I had a miscarriage. And I said to you, Maurice, this is normal. It's just something you didn't relate to.
Yeah.
But you were devastated by it.
Yeah.
And that was another thing. You had to work through it.
But I did use everything of my life right into the work.
Right into every play, everything you did.
But it made it difficult too, because if I have a nervous breakdown when I first start a job, it's too much almost to put into the work. But then again, like you said, I was so comfortable on the stage that's where I could live even when I'm dying.
Right.
Ooh, check that out. That's when I can live even when I'm dying.
Yeah. That's how safe we felt.
Yes.
You know, and many times I would just stand on the stage with you and not say anything.
I know.
Just be on the side.
I know.
Just in case.
But, you know, look, I just want to say, to conclude this, that you and Wendy were like my sisters who held my hand and loved me and got me through that. Because if I didn't get through that, Shelley, that could have been the end of my career. It really could have. Because I don't think I could have survived not doing it. I don't know why God keeps putting more in front of me.
You can do it. You can do it.
Yeah.
But if you hadn't done it, you would have fallen backwards.
I know. A lot.
And we talked about that too.
Yeah.
That you had to keep. I said, just roll the ball a little bit.
Yeah.
And I said it to myself. I said it to my kids. What'd you do today? Roll the ball forward a little bit, just
That's
a little bit.
That's a good. I like that.
Just make sure you're rolling the ball.
I
You
like
don't have, sometimes you can keep the ball still, but don't let the ball go back over you.
Yeah.
Keep rolling it forward. And it's a mantra, basically. When you get up in the morning, let's roll the ball forward a little bit. That means just getting out of bed
That's
and
right.
taking a walk
That's right.
and being kind to somebody.
That's
'Cause
right.
you were also so kind to everybody.
Yes, I do.
You were also a fantastic listener. So you had all those things. You just couldn't let that ball, and I couldn't let that ball roll back over you.
No.
You had to move it forward. And Paula has helped you move
Well,
the
of
ball
course.
forward.
Everybody knows that. All right, Shelley, this is good. I'm too emotional.
Don't you wish we could just snap and go back sometimes?
Yeah.
I want to go back and watch you jump from that funicular
Yeah, yeah.
in
It's fun.
Puerto Rico
Oh, it's
and
fun.
roll around the sand with
Yeah.
Vanessa.
Yeah.
It was so fun. Good times.
Thank you.
Thank you.
This has been just good, deep, real, and I love hearing it on the other side because I always talk about it, but I'm
Yeah.
not with anybody who was there.
Oh, there.
Except-
Oprah called me before you came on.
Oh, she did?
Yeah. She wanted, not her personally, but her people, and they said, can you tell us any stories? And I remember saying, call me back, because I wanted to ask you first.
Yeah.
What could I say? What could I say? You said, say everything.
Yeah.
Say anything. And you were exposing yourself at that time. And I said,
Yeah,
are you sure you want to do that?
Well, Paula was 8 months pregnant on Oprah.
Yeah, I remember that.
And Paula didn't want to go on the couch. And Oprah came to her and said, you're going to help a lot of people.
Yeah.
So she came on the couch.
Oh, yeah.
All right, Shelley. Thank you, honey.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Shelley.
That was great.
So much.
That was so good. Thank you.